Learning labs, they're called labs because they're explorations, they're experiments. We're going to blow ourselves up. Who knows? Many of the labs that I start, I'm exploring a concept that can't exist or can't be done, and the lab is nice, but it just documents how the thing didn't work, and there's no way it's ever going to work. In this particular case, I have a good chance that this is going to work. So why on earth? So what is NFS? I'm just going to give a brief overview. We're going to do this. This video should be no more than 60 to 90 minutes before we come back to and do it again. We're going to probably do a series of these until this lab is done, because I really want to get my head around NFS and using it with Kubernetes, which is a real core skill for infrastructure engineering. I feel like NFS got a resurgence of popularity with Kubernetes based on the ease with which it can be used as a storage class to set up all over the place, and particularly with on-prem, you have to know how to do that. What's precipitating this? At work, we ran out of storage, and so for Domino, and I had to go start digging, and I had to look at different storage classes, and all of our storage classes use the NFS abstraction on top of a GPFS, which is another thing from IBM, and a thing called DCNAS that we have, and a network attached storage device. It also has an NFS protocol layer. So NFS is not specifically software. NFS is a protocol, network file server. It's specifically a way for providing file server hierarchies and stuff like that on top of it. It's not the same as Windows. Windows is CIFS, otherwise known as Samba, Active Directory and that kind of thing. So it's a completely different network file system protocol. The network file system protocol that dates back the longest is NFS. When I first heard about it, I was really scared of it because back in the 90s, it was fraught with security vulnerabilities, and I understand from a long conversation with a friend some months back that NFS has since been, it's really safe. It's much safer than it ever was before. The biggest problem with NFS to date is latency. So you're talking about network stuff. So if you're putting NFS storage classes inside of your Kubernetes cluster, then you're automatically building in some amount of latency. So if you have databases with high disks write access or read access, they're going to have problems. But most of these modern applications remedy that by putting Redis in front of it or doing some in-memory stuff, and then dealing with a higher tolerance for storage write latency. I don't like calling it disk because it's not a disk, right? Anything can implement NFS, just like anything can implement a storage class. So there's just abstraction layers between your application and some place to store something. So what's up with kind, and why do I want this locally? If it's supposed to be a network file system, what the fuck? Why are you doing this on your own computer? Well, kind, as you know, is a way of running a single node cluster. You can actually run a multi-node cluster on a single machine by using Docker containers as simulated nodes. And that's really great because you can see everything. You can monitor it all through Docker. Docker kind of becomes your infrastructure, right? So you're kind of monitoring Docker as if you weren't in Kubernetes, and you can still look at everything in cluster by looking straight into stuff that's running in Kubernetes and putting pods in there, NetShoot or whatever, to look at how things are working. And so, but most importantly, when using kind implements its own storage class. It happens to be Rancher Provisioner for local path storage, which is awesome if you're just doing generic things, and you're not going to do anything that's you're going to create any application that's going to have multiple sources for storage. You can't, for example, use host path, local path storage like that if you're going to do anything where you want all of the storage to be in sync, because it's a problem with local path manual storage. The one on this node is different than the one on the other node. In the VOD yesterday, I showed how that's a problem. And so this is my exploration into a deeper form to see how easy it is, if possible at all, to run an NFS server and client using a standard NFS server and client locally, and then having kind be made aware of it as a storage class, so that when I'm making an application or I'm testing, what can I even monitor with regard to this type of storage class, we have NFS storage in our production and development clusters. So if I can simulate that environment by simulating NFS locally, I'm that much closer to to creating, debugging tools, or to just understanding storages in general from NFS, which is a really, really, really key thing, because all the other storage methods, NAS, everything, they all seem to implement NFS, and there seems to be a pretty high, affinity by Kubernetes in general for NFS as the sort of go-to storage method. When we're talking about on-prem. Clouds have got all of their own storage classes implemented, and normally you don't even have to ask these questions, but we do, right? Because we're on-prem, we want to set up our own cluster over here, which means we need to set up NFS. And it's been the 90s, I dabbled with setting up NFS and NIS, which is the thing that kind of usually always went with it. That allowed you to have single sign-on from multiple machines back when you did those kinds of things, but we don't do that anymore. We use containers for that kind of thing. So that's not as needed, but NFS is. So let's get going with this and try to install this. I did find an Azure. I just did my random first hit here. This is kind of a step to, this is for people on Azure to set this up, but I'm sure some of it will apply. I don't even know if it's a particularly good one. It's the first one I hit. So let's go through the quick tutorial. Setting up an NFS server with NFS share. Let's see how we can set up an NFS server and create an NFS file share. Related content. Build your own enterprise NFS service. Kind of want to do that. We'll come back to that later. I have a feeling that's Azure centric, so I'm not interested. So here we go. We're just going to do apt install. This is why I'm on Ubuntu and not Arch. I get people asking me all the time, why aren't you running Arch? Or are you not a real Linux person? I'm like, if you're asking that question, then you obviously haven't worked in the industry at all. Because there's no Arch in the industry, in the cloud world. So I'm not throwing mud at you. I'm just telling you the reality. So here we go. We're going to go ahead. We're going to just do apt install NFS kernel server. I'm not a fan of Red Hat these days. I'm not against it. I know how to use it. I've made RPMs. I know how to do it. If I have an option, I'm going to go Ubuntu. Specifically Debian. So sudo apt install NFS kernel server, just like that. I hope this doesn't blow my stream up. I'm sure it'll be fine. Says no admin ever. Apt install. Thank you for that. NFS kernel server. All right, so wow, that was pretty easy. What's it? NFS utilities disable or a static unit not starting it. Well, let's look at these warnings. Good idea to learn the warnings. NFS util service is disabled or a static unit not starting it. That means it's not a part of systemd. That's actually probably good. Hey, Mr. Extremely. Setting up NFS kernel, creating symlink. This is Mozzie, by the way. Mozzie is one of our new mascots. Yeah, Mozzie K bought that for me, gifted that to me as a community gift and thank you gift. So I just introducing you to Mozzie. Mozzie actually purrs and talks to you, makes noises. He hasn't done any so far, but how's it going, Stitching and Aggie? Okay, back to work. So what Ubuntu am I running? I'm running Pop! OS. Yeah, do we have to do that right now? Because I can, if you insist. No offense. I'm going to close this pane so you can see. Here's my NeoFetch. This is exactly what I have right now in case anybody wants to know. So, does that answer all your questions? NVIDIA, you heard RTX. It is Pop! OS. I want to go back to Linux Mint, but I don't have time. Yep. So here we go. We've got I think it installed, but I don't believe. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Okay. Create a root NFS directory. Yes, obviously. All right. So sudo make-dir. They always use it mount. It's always mnt or mtn or whatever. mnt slash local NFS. I bet we call it NFS. Shared. How about that? Is that already a thing? I hope not. Did I just blow something away? No. Hey, look, Kind has its own mounted storage. Interesting. What if we did... I want to know what it is. I don't want to forget about it. NFS. I'm just going to call it NFS. Fuck you. There. All right. Make me a sandwich. No. Sudo make me a sandwich. Okay. Well, I have that t-shirt. I gave it to my son because I'm too fat. The servers are... No, it is not. It is definitely not running. Set permission on the directory on the client machines so that any user on the client machine can access the folder. In the real world, you need to consider if the folder needs more restrictive settings. Nobody. Fuck. All right. If you say so. I blindly trust tutorials on the internet. That's never been a bad thing. Ever. I'm sure it'll be fine. No one is owner. All right. It says no one ever. There's people who do. That's the problem. It's funny because there's people who actually say that. I'm sure piping this file from the internet to my bash as root will be just fine. In fact, you can say there's a fair number of hackers who count on people saying those things. Humanity is awesome. So trusting. So pwnable. I'm sure if I embed my password into this application, it'll be just fine. I'm sure if I set this environment variable to my database password, no one will see it. Define access to NFS clients to an export file. All right. So I have a feeling NFS is going to have to run as root. This is going to be interesting because this used to be one of the reasons I was so scared of NFS before. It's one of these services that has to run as root in order to change permissions, kind of like mail servers do and stuff. And that, this is back in the day we used to run web servers as root. We actually did that. For how long? And people like me would say, running your web server as root is a bad idea. And people were like, eh. I'm just so fucking tired of being right. Sometimes I'm really wrong. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah. Define access for NFS clients and export file. To grant access to NFS clients, we'll need to define an export file. The file is typically located in Etsy exports, which warms my heart. This is a file I actually do remember from the 1990s. I played around with this shit. I don't remember the format though. I think this is probably as far as I got into setting this up. Edit the Etsy files in text editor. Doesn't say what one. Open your VS Code and edit Etsy exports. We should do it with ed. And add one of the following three directives. All the directives below use the options RW, which enables both read and write, sync and write access to change before allowing users to access modified file. If there's anybody who doesn't know where RWX Rob comes from, the RWX part, there's a big hint right there. That's a big hint. Which means NFS doesn't check if each subdirectory is accessible to the user. To enable access to a single client. Oh my God. What if I made access to myself. I bet we just do localhost. Yeep. Yeep. Ooh, look, it's pretty. It's all pretty. Oh, so pretty. Oh, so pretty. Wait. The access control list for file systems may be exported to NFS. Ooh, there's a man page on it. Because 90s. Living the dream of the 90s. Do I have to show that? I kind of feel like I do. I kind of do. I know you hate me for doing this. You're like, can you just stay on task for 1 fucking second? But I actually can't. I really can't. So I'm going to force you to watch this video right now and put my headphones on. Listen to San Francisco right now. Kind of take it down a notch. There you go. Oh, I miss my Portland. All right, so that was an unnecessary diversion that's going to be completely muted, and people will be like, what the fuck was that? I don't care. All right. I'm happy. That's all that matters. Back to our job. Welcome to Portland. I lived in Portland. That's where I learned everything. I think everything. That's where I first saw Unix. I learned it from Greek college graduates, same as Steve Jobs. And it's the first place I used NFS. That's what got me thinking about it. So I'll go back to our regularly scheduled programming of ChillOp. But, oh yes, very good times. All right, so we're going to do XD exports. We already made one of these. It's like that. I thought the whole use was like that. No, no, you can't go to Portland right now. You'll die. It's like the battlefront of the culture wars in America right now. It's like a fucking war zone in Portland right now. It is. America is just like completely collapsing on itself, and that's like the front lines. NFS. Hey, look at that. Mount NFS. God, look at this. This has got all kinds of fancy stuff. Example of NFS 2. What if we're doing just regular NFS? This doesn't tell me what to do here. Okay, so we're going to do client my share, client IP, read write, sync, no subtree check. I don't know what any of that means. I need to read all about it. I have my O'Reilly book somewhere, like my 90s O'Reilly book. It's stored away. And I do not remember it. Host name, localhost. That doesn't make any sense. I made an exports file with localhost in it. That's what I just did. I absolutely just did that. You know what I could do is I could make another name and then associate the IP for localhost to it, just in my Etsy host file if I really wanted to simulate this. So we're simulating a remote, file mount. In fact, why don't we do that? Let's give another host name, shall we? Sudo vi Etsy hosts. How about we do this? Not local, I swear. This is my new remote disk. It is fallen like this, but the NFS storage provider is what? Random NFS drive in our home. Yeah. Now we're hosting it locally so we can check it out. Yeah. And kind. We're trying to get NFS to work on a local system so we can use things that need NFS abstractions. And that's the purpose of it. That's the only purpose. Obviously, you could use real NFS for this if you have a physical thing. But I actually, the point of this particular video and language learning lab, learning lab, is so that we can, as developers and as operators and Kubernetes people, we can simulate having NFS in kind, which is a very localized kind of thing, very special. So there, we have a new host. That wasn't hard. All right, so let's check our exports file out. with the NetApp drive, which provided NFS shares in Kubernetes cluster. Yeah. Yeah, and that's another one. Get a Synology or a NetApp or something like that. And I probably will do that eventually, but right now I just want something basic. Read, write, sync, no subject check. I don't know why that is there. I want to understand, but I do not have that knowledge right now. I just want to get it to work, and then I'll go back and dig in deeper. This tells you who you give it access to. It looks like you can put more than one per line. That's kind of cool. NetApps. What do you guys like the Synology for the NAS? NAS is network attached storage hardware devices that fulfill all the NFS stuff. I'm sure it will be fine. That always goes well. Add it to the list of the list of things you never want to hear your system administrator say. That's right. I said system administrator as in BOFH and not SRE, a term I use whenever I have to. To enable access level to server clients. Okay, we already did that. Client IP, what? Oh, client IP, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you can put them on a different line? Wait, can they be on different lines? Or is that just because of the formatting problems? I don't think they can. Yeah, I think that's kind of wrapped. Okay. All righty then. Let's go back. Things are good. To make NFS shares available to clients, you're going to make the shared directory available to clients using the exportfs command. After running this command, the NFS kernel should be started. Making the file better. Use system restart NFS kernel to restart kernel. Okay. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. So, oopsie. All right. So here we go. Sudo. We don't know. It's not done yet. Hold your horses. You're going to jinx it. Hold your horses. That's the thing that we say in America for some reason. I have no idea. It's an idiom here. Exportfs did something magical that I have no idea what it did or how to check it. Actually, I think you can look in your exports in your mounts. Use systemctl restart because systemd NFS kernel. Yep. Sudo systemd, our favorite tool in the world. Restart NFS. Can I complete? I can't. You tell me I can't tab complete that shit? Really? Really? Get with the program, systemd. Oh, it's systemctl. Whoopsie. That might have been my first problem. It's systemctl. Oh, I am so dumb. There it was all the time. I typed the wrong thing. And now it's going to tell me all my services. Please tell me my services. God knows. Yes. Wow. Look at all that awesome stuff. God bless tab completion. NFS tab. Kernel server. Not kernel. We've agreed never to talk of it again. We just have accepted it. It's a thing. Oh, systemctl status NFS kernel server. Ooh, exited. What? Wait, what? It looks like it's not running any longer. What do you all think? To me, that looks like it's dead. Enabled. It says it's enabled. Active, exited. What does that mean? Server and services. What? Is that a thing? I don't know. Y'all know better than me. How do I check if it's running? I know. I was just going to do that very thing. How about netstat tuna? Netstat tuna. Let's have some tuna. What is NFS on? It's in etcd. grep. Okay, if you guys want to know, if you don't know what port of service is like this, that's been around since the 90s. You can grep. You can usually grep NFS out of out of Etsy services. Hey, there it is. Let's see if anything's listening on 2049. Shall we? Grep 2049. Hey, there's things listening on 2049. That's a good sign. That's a very good sign. Or I could do what Priorita did. But now I know something's listening. And you can also do, what's the one that shows the attached things? I can never fucking remember it. They added this. This wasn't there when I first learned that stat. There's another thing you can do that will show you the attached processes. And I can't remember what it is. Yes. It will show you that the process, it'll show you that. Oh, there it is. It's P. It's P. I found it. I feel so good. It's P. Yeah. Oh, so TUNAP. How can we do that? Patuna, Tupna, Tup, LSOF. Yeah, LSOF is another way. People do that all the time. That's been around. But they added it to get a TUNAP. Yeah, get a TUNAP. They added it to netstat finally. So LSOF used to be the way you had to do it, and then they added it to netstat, which makes so much sense. It does. So if we get 2049, we should get something more interesting. Actually, if we get rid of the N, it'll tell us it's NFS. What? Not all processes could be identified, not owned process info will be shown. You have to be able to see all. Fuck that. Okay, fine. That did not help me. TUNAP. All right, TUNAP. TUNAP says, but there's no process. It says there's no process. Huh, I guess we can't get it. So LSOF-I TCP grep 2049. Oh, God. Look at all those running processes. Yep. It seemed like it's listening in the void to the void. It kind of is. You know what? It's in systemd. That's why. I have a feeling it's a core systemd process. That would make sense, actually. That's the kind of thing. I mean, if they can jam SSH or server in there, why not that? You know, I bet that's what happened. I bet it's inside systemd now. Can anybody confirm that? Is NFS server now a part of systemd? I'm gonna bet it is. You should follow certain naming conventions. This is to be in line with how systemd names and mounts unit files. SF tab. Mount via systemd. Oh. Yeah, well. I mean, let's add this one to our list of readmes stuff. Thanks, A. How's it going, Kukanasa? Notes. Hints. How about that? List LTCP listeners. God damn it. LSOF-I TCP. List or netstat TUNAP. All right. I guess tips. Hints and tips. All right, so after Asmata, we did that already. Okay, now on to the big event. If you ever need another system, let me know. Yes, we actually do. If you're looking, I have part of it. I'm not serious. I just talked to my recruiter today, and he even if he's not placing for the Kubernetes stuff, let me know. No kidding. If you have SRE skills, he places SREs in America. That's his job. It's his primary thing. Mm-hmm. Did I say or? Good eyes, people. Thank you. Okay, beginner's guide to managing. Okay, so we did that already. I don't need you. I don't need you. Oh boy, I need this one. All right, so export system out. We restart. Export FS. See if you can do this in your sleep. Could you install NFS and do it all by yourself in your sleep, or you have to look it up? Well, it's not that hard, right? So make it a lot. I need to make a Z about it after we do all this, so don't worry, I'm going to do it. We have about a half an hour left, but I think we're making good time. And if you have a firewall enabled, no, we do not. Quick tutorial: set up your NFS on a client machine and mounting an NFS share. Step number 2. Now that we have set up an NFS server, let's see how to share a folder. To find an NFS share with the Linux computer by mounting it to the local machine. It seems ironic. We're going to mount and export NFS share on the same machine. Installing NFS client package. NFS common. So wait, let me see if I can memorize these packages. So we have NFS kernel server. Oh, that's why it's in the kernel. That's why. Shit. This is a kernel mod. No, that's why we didn't see a running process anyways, because it's in the kernel. It's not system, it's in the kernel. And system is not in the kernel, but so that NFS server is running in the fucking kernel. That's pretty amazing. Because there's no process. That makes me want to grab through /proc and see what owns 2049 or whatever. I kind of want to memorize that port again. What port is it? 2049? 2049. 2049 is NFS. There they are. All right. NFS server, it seems to exist in the systemctl. It is in there. Are you talking about just that one? Right, so sysctl NFS server. I bet you there's a server and then, oh, look at that. That's different than the kernel one. I wonder if it's an alias. I have a feeling it is. It is. It's the same thing. It's just a shortcut. Yep. All the data is the same. There are two. Yeah. They're identical though. I kind of feel like they are the same. Oh my god. Espen RPC NFSD. RPC terrifies me. But it's still a thing. Apparently RPC is still a thing. That's why it's in the kernel, because it's an RPC service. Do you guys remember how to list all the RPC services? Holy shit, that takes me back. The dream of the 90s. When's the last time you listed all the RPC services on your machine? Holy cow, I totally forgot about RPC services. They're all under the same thing. That is crazy. Oh, that's like ancient tech. Yeah. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. So what are we going to do here? We're going to do it with a Linux computing by mounting it in a local machine. Let's see how to share a folder defined as an NFS share. All right, we have to install NFS common. Sudo apt install NFS common. And what else? That's it. Yep. Do we have to go deep into ancient tech? I kind of do. I'm not doing it right now, but RPC is a big deal. You have to be able to use NFS today. It's not even ancient anymore. It got revived. You know what else got revived? Net booting. PXE. PXE got revived. That was dead. It was dead tech, and now it's like totally coming back. Because it's just easier to reboot a machine with the patched OS and then make all your nodes just rebootable. That's what I want to do, but my Macs don't support it, I don't think. Mounting it. Okay, create a local directory that will mount as the mount point for an NFS share. In our example, we'll call the folder var locally mounted. Okay. Make directory var. Mount. Let's see. Mounted NFS. And I know. Sudo make directory var. Yeah, we did. Mounted txt MNFS. I knew there was a mount command coming. It's actually not even that hard. I do remember mounting and unmounting remote NFS directories. This is stuff I do remember doing. I didn't realize installing it was so easy. Mount-tnfs, IP of NFS server, folder path on server, var locally mounted. Holy shit, that's it. We just added. We have to add it to our mount file though. Yeah. We got Soviets PI. Мне кажется, что кто-то говорит по-русски, который... Когда кто-то называется Soviets Pi, is there a Soviet version of the Raspberry Pi? Is that what that is? Or is it Soviet spy with an underscore to throw us off? I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I can see through your word tricks. No, шпион наш нашел. Ну ладно. Ну, мне все равно. Мне все равно. Привет. Okay, what do we do now? I had to welcome our Soviet spy into the chat. IP of NFS. We shall say definitely not local, I swear. Explain what we are doing. Explain to the spy what we're doing. Someone tell the spy what we're doing. We're trying to set up local NFS so we don't have to use networks so the spies can't break in while we're trying to do our development. I think I'm kidding. All right. What we got? Fuck. IP or NFS of NFS server. Folder path on server. Oh, and then a space. Okay. All right. So we did mnt/NFS. And we're going to mount that to var mounted NFS mooted. Mounted NFS. That makes you either think of a porn stars or Canadian Mounties, either way. So, or Kentucky Derby horses. That's another possibility. Sudo mount-tnfs IP or NFS folder path on server var locally mounted. So let's see. That's what I did. Hunting wabbits. We're hunting wabbits, just not quietly. All my family's out of the house, if you can't tell. That's why I'm being so loud. Yawn. Does that mean it's time for me to go for a walk? Almost. Um. Oh wow, you can open it to the whole subnet. Nice. With a subnet mask, you can do a CIDR. Uh-huh. Okay, I gotta come back to that later. This is not hard at all. And not nearly as hard as I was expecting it to be. I totally got. Yeah, you queue and muted for some reason. What? You type, I can't type a queue? Sudo is command rated 18 plus. It definitely is. The tournament should be a folder with the FMT mount. Yes. They added CRDR and the exports file? Did they? Nice. Nice. MNT. NFS. Ooh, it's got a fancy permissions to it. That means I think it's already been mounted. Why the fuck? Oh. It's got all this stuff. It's a symlink, but it's not a symlink. It's got that special color because it's like, it's a mount point. See? Yeah, that's better. Yep, df-h-mnt. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Also not good. I feel like, you know what? It's because I haven't mounted it yet. Don't rush me. I'm being rushed. Don't rush me. I have to mount it still. Wait, I did that. It didn't work. I didn't mount it there. Wait. df-h var mount. Let's see if mounted is. It is. Hey, look, I just published my root directory to the whole world. Any questions? Any questions? I'll be here all night. I just mounted my root directory to anything on my local subnet. I'm really glad that I only mounted it to my... You know what? There's another reason to practice with local hosts. Because, you know... of NFS var mounted this. No? No, I think we did already. I mounted it incorrect. It definitely mounted it. It just didn't do it properly. Yeah. Oh, God. You're scaring me, Dr. Jekyll. What do you want me to look at the PID for? Thank you for the follow. I don't want to do that. Is that how you're gonna make me blow away my entire disk? Not doing that. Not doing that. Sudo mount dash t NFS mass. You did. I did it backwards. I have to unmount it now though, huh? Sudo unmount. Not local. Kids don't try this at home. Don't put that in there. NFS server failed PID. You think so? How? Here, explain that to me. Explain that to me because I'm new. I don't know who I specified. Oh, wait. This has got to be this. Damn it. God. All right. So, hey, look, NSFS. We do have some stuff. We do have NFSD on proc NFSD, type NFSD. Anyway. Let's try this. All right. So I thought we should be able to get all of our mounts, including our exports. How can you show all your remotely mounted things? Is it exports? There's a command to do this, and I can't remember what it is. Maintain table of export NFS file systems. NFS server maintains the table. Export NFS command maintains the current table of exports for the NFS server. The master export table is kept in the file NFS. Oh, wow. RBC mounting. This is totally different. This is like the way it should be done. The way I'm doing it like by hand is probably not the best. Re-export or synchronizing. Yeah, look at this. ETAB with Etsy exports and the files exporting. Interesting. Yeah, I gotta look at that. That's the official way to do it. I remember something about that. It might be the reason that it's not working, but the reason right now is we need to mount it. I that's the thing. We're gonna get to the mounting. They should be mounted automatically on reboot. That's the point, right? But I don't think they are. That's why you have to add them. So, yeah. So let's do the by hand mount again. I mean, nobody ever types mount these days. It's very, very unusual to do that. No, this is supposed to be the remote, guys. I did it right. This is supposed to be the remote. Everybody was telling me that I had it wrong. It's not. It says IP of the NFS server. So that's the simulating the remote thing. And in our case, we were saying I actually had that one right. Yeah. So that did mount it. I just don't know why it mounted it the way it did. It didn't seem to have mounted it properly. Maybe it's because the Etsy exports file has got a problem. I have a feeling that's what's up. Yeah. Mount NFS localhost. I don't understand that. I wonder if I have to restart the daemon tree to get it to pick up the new exports file. I bet I do. No? No, because it picked it up. It wouldn't have even seen it at all if it didn't work. So... yeah. Sometimes access to our subnet. No. By hand if I need them because it is connect another hard drive or change partitions. Yes, it does. Yep. And I want to get good with being able to do the commands all the time. So you plug something in. The thing is so cool about that. If you can get this to work, you know what? I love that you said that because you just reminded me that there's actually a really good use case for this locally. Let's say you want to plug your terabyte USB drive and you want to grab something off of it for another computer someplace in your house. You plug the USB. You obviously can plug it into the computer sometimes, but not always, right? And you could write a script that does a mount against it, and then you could SSH into the thing, get the files off of it remotely. And this kind of, you know what I mean? You could do a remote NFS mount. I mean, you could also just SCP the files off of it, which I've also done. That's another thing I've always done. Just grab the part ID with the hardware ID NFS tab. Yeah. Yeah, that's another cool way to do it. Yeah, I don't know these ways. I'm not familiar. So this is fun. This is fun for me. So we have local mount NFS, local host, and I feel like my mount command was correct. Not plugged in, but works too, at least. Yes, yeah. So yeah, being able to mount being able to mount and export a file system is super valuable. And it's also a great way to take advantage of a computer somebody doesn't know what they're doing and mounts the root directory, which I apparently am still doing because I don't know what I'm doing. So watch, if I do this, first of all, does that show up in my mounts table? BootyFI recovery. That's my USB. There it is. It did mount. It mounted and it showed up in the mounts table. Nice. And in that sense, it's just like every other mount. It's just remote. Type NFS 4. Yeah, the thing, okay. So there's nothing in here, so we did not fail. Touch foo. Touch my foo. All right, so if that worked, we're gonna ooh, it's gonna be fancy. We're gonna be super fancy. Yeah. Watch ls-l mount. What do I call it? NFS. Hey, look, there's a foo in there. Do you see the foo in there? Watch, I'm gonna take it out. Remove foo. Magic. Check the folder from the other side. Let me say for I in 0 to 1 to 10 do touch me. Done. Woo! Magic. It's just like magic. It's technology. It's magic technology. Good me. Good job, Rob. Went that foo too far. All right, watch. Remove me 10. So finger is a command. I'm just reminding you. So remove me 2. Remove me 3. I'm just not tired of this. Why am I excited? Beyond the usual reasons, I'm excited because I just successfully changed something on a simulated remote computer that is mounted to the other computer. Watch both folders, the mounted and the mounted share server on the server. This can be fun from time to time. Yeah. Watch to see how fast did they update. The shell like this. Like that. Now we mount this in Kate's PVC. Exactement. Exactement. C'est ce que je veux faire. C'est ce que je veux faire. Oui. We're very close to being done with this little lab. I feel like it was been a success. I mean, I forgot that NFS is not that hard. It's not that hard. It's been around for so long. You should get go with NFS and use it all the time. I really think that. I think that more now. I feel bad that I let it pass out of my memory. So yeah, let's do this. Let's do this before we go for a walk at 4:45. I feel like I still want to go for a walk, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna go skateboard and go for a walk later. So yeah, we've done everything. We've got our NFS mount. That wasn't even hard. I could write that tutorial. So, but I want to do that again and again and again, again. You know, that's how you remember things, right? That's why kids want to repeat things all the time. So what do we do? Well, we need to figure out how to get NFS, how to add a PV thing. And this is actually a second phase of this. So install NFS client and server, install the client, set up a mounted /shared directory. Make kind aware of the NFS storage class. And this is where I'm really out of my league. So we're getting there. Make kind aware. I feel like, I know what? I think I'm going to end right there. I'm going to go for a walk, and we're going to come back, and we're going to do all the rest, because I feel like we got NFS installed. We created a mount directory, and then we're gonna come back. Yeah, so we're gonna go walk, and then we'll come back. All right, so stay tuned for the next video in this series. If you want to see how to turn that mounted NFS directory into a persistent volume that you can then use from kind, hopefully, and we'll see how to